At first glance, Mitch Unrein doesn't seem like your typical underdog. At 6'4", 291 pounds, you wouldn't think he's been called undersized before. As a three-time All-Mountain West selection, you wouldn't say he's not a Division I athlete. But at one point, college coaches and scouts said he was all the above.
When they were kind of giving me the runaround, you can walk on if you want, we're not going to offer you a scholarship. And, Wyoming they were really interested in trying to get me up there as a walk-on. They didn't have any scholarships left. And that I knew Marty English and Joe Glenn, that was one thing that really sold me to go up there.
The Unrein family had a strong relationship with Wyoming defensive coordinator Marty English, who had coached Unrein's older brother Michael at Northern Colorado.
When it came time to recruiting Mitch, he was maybe not a real fast linebacker, not big enough to be a D lineman, but I believed in the toughness that the family has. I believed in Mitch's toughness, and just said, hey, if you come give it a shot at Wyoming, I really, really think you're going to earn a scholarship.
Football played a huge role in the Unrein family. Mitch's older brothers all excelled in high school and earned scholarships to play at the college level, which served as inspiration to an already motivated kid.
Oh, it was a big deal. We used to play on the front lawn growing up, and I would always watch my brothers play, at the high school level. Then finally when I got my chance, it was a very big deal to me, and I always tried to live up to their expectations that they set at the high school level. And then they went on and played in college, and that's something that I wanted to do.
I could see that the competition between all those brothers is unbelievable. The things they did growing up to one another. You didn't have a choice but to be tough and compete, and the dad demanded it too.
Those expectations and competition were what drove him when he walked on at Wyoming. Unrein knew he was good enough to be on scholarship, but would have to prove himself to the coaches. And he did that from the time he stepped foot on campus.
When you have something that you deserve and you don't have it yet, and you see these other guys, and a lot of them, fell off, dropped off the map, that had scholarships initially. And I just kept on working. That's one thing that I've always tried to hang my hat on, is to work as hard as I can. And
he's got nowhere to go, and he is hit and knocked down by Mitch Unrein, the sophomore from Eaton, Colorado.
It makes it that much sweeter when you work for something, not just given something right away. So, that's just kind of part of my life. I've always been considered the underdog, I guess, to myself, and that really helps me work towards my goals.
Unrein became more than just a scholarship player. He was a permanent fixture and dominating force on the Cowboy defensive line from his freshman year on.
I'm really proud of Mitch. He's a guy that had just a tremendous motor, really bought into everything we were doing when he was here with me, and he's a fantastic football player, and to have a chance, it didn't happen right away for him. He just kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and now he's made a name for himself, and he's playing in the NFL.
After his senior year, Unrein went undrafted.
Right after that, I'm like, whoa, I'm done. Too bad I wasn't drafted or anything like that. That's always in the back of your mind, but I did get a call, which I was happy with.
He was invited to join the Houston Texans as a free agent.
So I went on down there, and unfortunately it didn't work out. I wasn't the guy for them at the time, but everything happens for a reason.
It was short-lived as the team released him before the 2010 season even started.
It was a tough 6 weeks. I remember towards that 5th week there, I called my agent, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this much longer, just sit around. And I was thinking about just hanging it up, for, 6 weeks is quite a long time when you're watching every Sunday on TV. The NFL teams out there playing, and you see guys, and you're like, I know I'm better than that guy. I know I can play with that guy.
After being cut by the Texans, Unrein returned home to Eaton, Colorado, where he got a job cleaning sewers as a 9-to-5. He still had a hunger for football, but didn't know when he'd get that opportunity. Then the call came.
Luckily, Denver called me up that day, and they're like, hey, can you be down here in about 2 hours for your physical? And I was like, yes.
The Broncos signed Unrein to its practice squad for the remainder of the 2010 campaign. When 2011 rolled around, Mitch was back on the bubble and didn't know if he would make the team. On the final day of cuts, Unrein waited for his name to be called.
I was really shooting for that active roster spot, and so I came in Saturday morning, and I walked on by, and the guy that he sends people upstairs, and that's how you know you're kind of getting cut, is when they send you upstairs. And if you're not, they they kind of let you just go on with your day. And so I walked past him and he didn't say anything. I was like, well, maybe he's waiting a little bit. And he didn't come get me, and I went and worked out and everything. And then by that time, almost all the cuts were done. And that's when it kind of hit me. And it's like, whoa, I made the active roster.
He was on the active roster. He was a Denver Bronco.
You know, one of the reasons why Mitch is here, great work ethic. To me, that's important, okay? He's coachable. He tries to do it exactly the way you ask him to do it. He's not the most talented player that I have, but because he works at his skill, his technique, and he has great work ethic, he works at it, he gives you 100% effort every time, that's why he's still with the Broncos. He's a great kid.
The hard-working kid from Eaton, Colorado has taken every step along the path to football's biggest stage, and he hopes others will use him as an example and follow in his footsteps. Coming
from, a walk-on, I would never have thought at that time when I was walking on to the University of Wyoming that I would be where I'm at today. And so I just hope the kids know that no matter how small a town you come from, it doesn't mean you can't do big things. So that's something that I hope I have showed a lot of kids coming from Eaton. And, I'm just grateful for all the support coming from such a small town. It's a small town, but there's a lot of people that you never know that have been following you, that I finally made it, and for all the attaboys, that's pretty amazing.